is oral lore? Oral lore or oral tradition is a form of human communication wherein knowledge, art, ideas, and cultural materials is received, preserved, and transmitted orally from one generation to another. The transmission is through speech or song or may include folktales, ballads, chants, prose, or verses. In this way, it is possible for a society to transmit oral history, oral literature, oral law, and other oral knowledge across generations without a writing system or in parallel to a writing system. Next is what is pre-colonial literature. Pre-colonial literature is the variety of abundance of Philippine literature evolved even before the colonial period. Folks, tales, epics, poems, and marathon chants existed in most ethno-linguistic groups that were passed on from generation to generation through word of mouth. Some of these pre-colonial literary pieces showcased in traditional narratives, speeches, and songs are Tigmo in Cebuano, Bugtong in Tagalog, Fototondon in Bicol, and Paktakon in Ilonggo. Philippine epics and folktales are varied and filled with magical characters. They are either narratives of mostly mythical objects, persons, or certain places, or epics telling supernatural events and bravery of heroes, custom, and ideologies of a community. Pre-colonial inhabitants of our islands showcase or reach past through their folk speeches, folk songs, folk narratives, and indigenous rituals and mimetic dances and affirm our ties with our Southeast Asian neighbors. So we have here the literary forms during the pre-colonial period. First is riddles or bugtong or palaisipan in Tagalog. It is made up of one or more measured lines with rhymes and may consist of 4 to 12 syllables. Showcase the Filipinos with literary talent and keen observation of the surroundings. Involves references to one or two images that symbolizes the characteristics of an unknown object that is used to be guessed. Just for example, nagtago si Pedro pero nakalabas ang ulo. And another example is, hindi pari, hindi hari, ngunit nagdadamit ng sari-sari. And the second is folk songs. It is a form of folk lyric which expresses the people's hopes, aspirations, and lifestyles. Repetitive and sonorous, didactic, and naive. Traditional songs and melodies, inspired by the reaction of the people to their environment. For example, Uyayi, it is a lullaby. And Kumintang, and it is a war song. And the last one is Kundiman, it is a melancholic love song. The third is epics. It is a long poem, typically one derived from ancient oral tradition, narrating the deeds and adventures of heroic or legendary figures of the history of a nation. And it's portraying heroic deeds and adventures or covering an extended period of time. For example is the Biyag ni Lamang or the Life of Lamang of the Ilocanos, narrates the adventures of the prodigious epic hero, Lamang, who exhibit extraordinary powers at early age. The fourth is Proverbs or Salawikain. Proverb is a simple and concrete saying, popularly known and repeated, that expresses a truth based on common sense or experience. They are often metaphorical. These have been customarily used and serve as laws or rules on good behavior by our ancestors. To others, these are like allegories or parables that impart lessons for the young ones. Just for example, it is hard to wake up someone who is pretending to be asleep. While it is easy to tell people something they do not know, it is much harder if they are willfully choosing not to see what is before them. And the fifth is the myths. mythology body of myths of a particular culture, and also the study and interpretation of myth. It is a complex cultural phenomenon that can be approached from a number of viewpoints. In general, myth is a narrative that describes and portrays in symbolic language the origin of the basic elements and assumptions of a culture. Mythic narrative relates, for example, how the world began, how humans and animals are created, and how certain customs, gestures, or forms of human activities originated. For example, myths from different regions of the Philippines. The first one is the gods and goddesses from Ilocos. Why there is a high tide during a full moon from Ibanag. Why the dead come back no more from Ifugao. And the last one is the legends. Traditional narratives or collection of related narratives, popularly historically factual but actually a mixture of fact and fiction. The medieval Latin word legenda means things for reading. A legend is a set of a specific place at a specific time. The subject is often a heroic historical personage. A legend differs from a myth by portraying human hero rather than one who is God. Legends, originally oral, have been developed in literary masterpieces. Legends are stories of real people who are famous for doing something brave or extraordinary. Just for example, the legend of the Dama de Noche, and the legend of the banana plant, and legend of the firefly. I hope you learned something and thank you for listening.